Hi, this is Pamm Larry, and I work with GMO Free USA, GMO Free California, and my new project, which is called the Good Food Brigade. I've been working on this since 2011 and have worked with people all across the country and around the world on genetically engineered food labeling and other sorts of campaigns. The labeling thing swept the nation, was really very exciting, and has culminated in the federal government coming up with a new law that we're in the final stages of raising our voices about. It's called the Bioengineering Disclosure Act. We call it the DARK Act. The federal government initially called it the Safe and Affordable Food Act. Anyway, lots of different names. But the bottom line is that this is kind of our last, we think this is our last chance to take a strong stand for labeling genetically engineered foods in this country, in the United States. So why do I want to talk about this? Well, first of all, because it's really important to me, and I believe it's important to the planet and to the people who live on it, and for our freedom and right to choose. It's for our food sovereignty. So what does it say, and why am I concerned? The most important piece about it for me is, everybody's got their own ideas, but my personal idea is the most important issue with this law is that they're trying to change the definition of genetic engineering. And as many of you may know, many people have defined genetic engineering as taking DNA from one species and putting it into another. But around 2013 to 2014, a new wave of technologies started. Many of you probably have heard of CRISPR or gene editing, and the industry is very much trying to remove these from our minds as GMO. They're genetic engineering, they're GMOs, but the USDA wants to only count the transgenes as GMOs. So what does that mean? That means we're back to square one, because transgenes are very expensive to do and they take a long time, and the new techniques are like really cheap and go very quickly to test to get out on the market. So that's what everyone's using. So basically the whole law will be moot. Genetic engineering labeling will be moot unless we have the international definition, which is the same one as the World Health Organization, the World Trade Organization. Those include the new technology. So it's really important, in my opinion. That's the most important piece. Another important piece is that the threshold level is what they call. So how much can be allowed? It's virtually impossible to get something unless you just buy like one apple. The minute you start doing any kind of processing or anything, there's going to be some level of contamination, because there's always corn or soy or whatever. So the threshold level with the non-GMO project and with our European trade partners is 0.9. I believe that's the best option. That's the international standard. 5% is too much. 10% is way too much. So that's an important piece. Another one is that the symbol, and this is one everyone's like focusing on, and I believe it's an intentional diversionary tactic to take us away from those most important issues, which are the ones I talked about. So yes, we want clear on-package labeling that says GMO. Genetic engineering would be okay too in my book. And many others, some others it's not. Everybody, most people want it to be GMO because that's the terminology we've been using as a culture for the past 30 years. So it makes sense to use the same terminology and not change the name all of a sudden to something very light and fluffy that kind of confuses people. And we believe that it's definitely there to confuse people. Also, just as a little side note, the feds, the USDA had actually copyrighted 3 symbols for the labels, which they abandoned in February. But that's maybe for another conversation. Another issue that's really important is the exemptions. I find it so funny that, the opposition used all these ridiculous exemptions that weren't really exemptions to confuse people when they were voting. But now they're trying to exempt huge amounts of foods, such as oils, sugars, anything where our science hasn't caught up yet with being able to detect the fact that there's genetically engineered material in the product. I will let you know, though, that the oils, we are getting stronger testing. So just because it's not showing up yet doesn't mean it's not there. It just means our science hasn't caught up yet. That's a really important issue. And I'm going to have to look here to make sure I've got all of them. The weak enforcement standards, there's basically no enforcement, so what the heck? And then the final one that's really, really awful, I think I did talk about this a little bit. I mean, not only don't they don't they force calling it a GMO, they don't even allow you. You have to call it bioengineered. So those are kind of, for me, the most important pieces of this. So my plea to you is to go to the link that I'm putting below and comment. It doesn't take much time. It's very simple. All you got to do is put in your comment, your name, blah, 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 blah. Use your own words. Just talk about how you feel. Be authentic. And my final note is that I know that there are a lot of petitions out there from a number of different folks, many of whom were our partners, and I love them and I appreciate them, and sign petitions, but please know that the way that your voice is really heard is when you go and you make a comment. If you've signed a petition, you haven't done enough. So please go there and have your voice be heard. Thank you for all the work you've done. This is our last stretch. And as a final note from my new project, the Good Food Brigade, know that the best way to know what you're eating is to grow your own or to buy from your local farmers and support your local farmers. That's really crucial right now in a whole lot of ways, but we'll be talking about that in other sessions. So you take care, have a great day, and have fun commenting, and let me know down below in the comments when you've done that and what the issues that are most important to you are. Have a great day. Bye.